to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll entertain a motion to accept. Please,
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
there's a second.
I'll second it.
I'm not sure that we can just accept that without a question. So.
Burn your mics.
Oh, it's over here.
It says down there at the bottom that Mike said that the cost was going to be $80,000, but I wanted to confirm if there was a different
sorry.
cost. So we,
Awesome. Where you at, Eric?
sorry, I touched something and it went blind.
I'm sorry, I didn't see the second part. I saw the first part of my,
So the minutes from the meeting down at, let's see,
labor
on
costs
Mike
are
Fisher, yeah, labor costs are around $80,000. Mike, was that the cost if we already have somebody else do it?
Yes.
Yeah, so this isn't kind of written like that. It kind of reads such that the costs are $80,000 and he'll break it down for us when he's done. So,
Well, I'll go through the budget.
but your own, but that, the way this is reading, it's sounding like the labor costs.
I think it was like 85,000.
The bid cost.
Just
So
to
I
do
think
the
that the
work.
difference was the
So you
bid was.
can accept it just with whatever changes, and I can fix it.
Okay,
in
great.
minutes.
Can you word that so it's clear?
Okay,
that
so
If the bid was $80,000 or $85,000.
just to make it just with. that
Yeah.
one.
We ended up doing it.
Okay.
Right, yeah, but this is reading such that it looks like it's
That
gonna costing us $80,000 for us to
Okay.
do it.
Got it.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
Okay. I need a motion to accept the consent agenda. Once again,
Oh,
Really?
no, you go for it,
Second.
yeah.
and who seconded it?
I'll second.
Eric seconded it? You get that, Devin?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nay. Motion carried. Did everybody have a wake up call this morning or this afternoon or what?
Huh?
Is it just me?
No.
Change in weather or what's going on? Anyway, we'll move on. With reports, and the first one I see is Public Works. All right, front and center,
Step to the mic.
step to the mic.
Mike, step to the mic.
There we go,
That's a short leash.
Yeah, sorry.
that's all we got.
Okay, well, here we go. So, so the last time we had the meeting, we were getting ready to do the park cleanup. That all went pretty well. Mayor Dobosh rounded up a bunch of kids and some other folks, and they went down there, did a good job cleaning up. We got a big part of the bark pile moved, but it's not all moved yet. So we are gonna be moving that here as soon as possible into the playground area. So, and that will complete that.
If the rooster lets you.
There is a wild rooster running around. There's two, actually. There is one up here. It's Jill's pet. And then
Not really.
she loves it. She knows it. So anyway, got an email from Master Meter. July, they're gonna come and do their training and software and all that. So Devin's just got to pick out the dates. They emailed the list of the dates. So we'll get that done, get that all on. We'll have to manually read one more time because we'll read in June. But other than that, we should be up and rolling. So John was on vacation last week. We had to read meters and keep the plant running. So not a lot of outside stuff, extra stuff, I guess. We did meet with the engineers on the water line going up the hill. They proposed 3 or 4 different phases. The first phase they would like to see is a closed zone pump station to get the gallon per minute that they are going to need for their first development for a single story residential. So, and then there's other options past that as things grow. So, and that was the one thing that they presented. They would like to see that first. So as soon as the water comp plan gets done and all that, they will be presenting that, and we'll go from there. Other than that, Sam looks like he's ready to get up here, so.
Is there any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike. Sam, you're next.
Everything wonderful. Actually, my lots report, Logan's been busy, and we got no bids on the car. So we're gonna send it off, possibly to auction with the county on the next one. So we're gonna have to have it stripped out. Other than that, I'm on vacation a lot.
That's good.
I still got a lot to do.
That's okay. We'll work on it. Any questions for Sam? Nothing? Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
No problem, sir.
Kevin?
Any questions on the report?
Yes. Could you tell me more about the building permit services with Winlock and the discussion you had afterwards that made you decide that we shouldn't do it?
Because from what me and Jill got from Robert and Mayor Svensson is that they're breaking even right now just to pay for Robert. They're not really making money on building permits. And that's kind of the reason we were even going to look at doing that, so that we could actually make a little bit of money off of it. But if they're not just breaking even with Robert, and then with everything they've got going on, I don't know, they don't, it's just gonna be Robert, so I don't know how he will be able to handle all of Winlock stuff, and then whatever starts happening here. And we would still be doing some of the work in here also. So our thought was to change the new construction fee to where it alleviated some of the cost for our wages, because we only charge $20 per permit right now for everything.
So I think when these meetings happen, we need to have some more representation. This is one of the number of meetings that has happened in the last 2 weeks that I think we need to have people like the planning representative. When we're talking about short plats, we need to have somebody potentially from council when we're talking with other cities about doing things like that, so that we're not just here signing our name with no context or input. I feel as though there's a disconnect going on, and I'm a little hot over it at the moment.
Okay.
So I will readdress this at new business and make a motion then.
Okay. Anything else? Okay. Devin, you got anything else?
I don't know.
All right. Then let's move on. That's all the reports that we have. Committee reports, police, park board, planning commission, all that's been done. Public hearing, special presentation, we have none. Public comments on agenda items. Any public comments on agenda items? Nothing? Then we'll move on to new business. The recommendation for council position number 4. And my recommendation to the council would be to elect Catherine Hill. My recommendation, and I have a oath of office paper in front of me, so if you guys want to pass that recommendation with a motion, and I can swear her in.
I will make a motion to accept the mayor's agenda to elect Catherine Hill into, is it position number
Position
2?
4.
4, okay, position number 4.
I second it.
Okay, so moved in second. Any other discussion? Let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Catherine, if you can come up here, I'll swear you in. You have it. Okay. Yeah, you read it. I'll read it first. And you just copy the message. Okay. Raise your right hand. I, Catherine Hill,
I, Captain Hill,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will
or affirm that I will
support the Constitution
support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the state of Washington
and the state of Washington
and the ordinances of the city of Toledo,
and the ordinances of the city of Toledo,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
and impartially perform
and impartially perform
and discharge the duties
and discharge the duties
of the position of city council position number 4
of the duties of the position of city council position number 4
for the city of Toledo,
for the city of Toledo,
Lewis County,
Lewis County,
Washington.
Washington.
Congratulations.
Okay. Am I supposed to sit up here now?
If you'd like, you sit up here. You should get a tablet already. I got paper.
Yeah, but yours opens like.
Oh, it does. See, Emily, I got paper.
I know, I'm kind of jealous now. I want to go back to papers. Sorry, guys.
Okay, any other new business? I don't see any on the agenda. Unfinished business. Ordinance number 775, water/sewer service rates - first reading. And the ordinance on number 775, an ordinance for the city of Toledo, Washington, amending ordinance number 752, section 4 and section 5, and section 8.4.1 of the city code of the city of Toledo, establishing rates for sewer services upon a bi-monthly basis and repealing ordinances in conflict. The only thing that I saw on here when I read this is on page number, but it's under 1D, under the water charge. There again, it says $3.35 in the words. And in parentheses, it says $3. We've corrected all the other numbers except we missed that one.
So it sounds like we can pass this with just that getting repaired.
Yes. I just need to,
Yeah, you can pass it with changes that is fixed.
okay. That's the only thing I saw in reading it.
All the other ones say $3 and $3. So you must have just found one that they missed.
I'm just like a blood hound.
I guess,
Yeah.
geez.
It's this paperwork, I'm telling you. I don't have those. I got this.
I
Anyway,
don't know about that, but
anyway,
we'll give it to you.
okay, thank you.
You betcha.
Can we have a motion?
I'll make that motion, but with the fact that it will be fixed in the future to the water rate that we agreed upon.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
So moved in second. Any other questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, under unfinished business, we have non-exclusive franchise agreement with Lewis County.
I spoke with Martin Roy today from the Lewis County Public Works.
Okay,
And he said this is, because it was a little weird because it reads like a telecom franchise license or franchise agreement. And we're not a telecom. And so, but he said it's pretty much just boilerplate, but he really was just like, I've been doing this, he's only been doing the job for 5 years, and that's just what he puts out, and people need that, and unless we're being horrible.
I also called him and that's what
That's
he
who you're
told
talking
me. And he, like, basically, I mean, I had questions throughout it and he was able to easily walk me through it. And
He was going to confirm that the template was correct.
He was, and he said if it turns out it's wrong, then they'll repair that.
so he was very easy to talk to and made it very
speaking with Steve, he had some issues with it, which I agreed with, which was it read that after 10 years, they could revoke the franchise agreement and tell us to remove our stuff from under their right of way. But I kind of agreed with him when he said that's not something to do. So we can decide to go with it the way it is or not. I'm kind of leaning on just take it the way it is and understand what's going on. And if we get into trouble with them, then we address it there, sort of.
How many years we've been agreeing with this, Kevin, roughly? Long time,
I
right?
think so, yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, I think they were just surprised we didn't have a franchise agreement in place. So they're trying to get something in place.
Yeah, well, I think with the water lines that went up to that new, the one by the high school, that new house, we were trying to find that as to see if it was similar to it. And I think when we started it like in 2020 and then everything got shut down, so I don't think we actually finished it. So we need to look into with DOT about, because our water line does go up through there, right way up to that house. But I think since everything got messed up in 2020, it kind of got under the wayside when we started looking into it. We're trying to find you something that was similar to kind of compare it to, but we don't have that yet. So that's one thing we do need to finish now since it's come to light.
Okay,
So I make a motion, we accept this the way it is.
Second that
is there a
motion.
second? It's been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Nothing? Okay, let's vote on it. All those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I have no other unfinished business, and I have no other business.
So I have the other business. I'm really not sure how to propose this, but I think I need to make a motion that we pursue having members of our committees or of our like the planning commission and the city council be present, especially in this time of kind of turmoil and change that we have going on, that at least as a start, that we make sure that we have someone present at these meetings with outside entities.
With
So,
like GNO.
yeah. Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. There's 3 meetings that happened in the last 2 weeks that I had been a part of and wasn't a part of. And now we're getting outcomes that are kind of shocking coming from them. And I think we need more inclusion and information rather than just, so I'm really not sure. I make a motion, we pursue that, and if that means we need to get together and talk about how that works, then we do that.
Okay. We can do that. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second that motion.
She'll second that motion,
Can hurt to have another.
as long as we don't go over 2 members
Absolutely.
per session. If we do it, it has to be posted. Okay,
We should have
you want that in the motion, Eric?
a committee for
Yeah, I
that.
think that's kind of a given, so we need to have a representative from.
2 or less,
2 or less, yeah.
2 or less, Devin, any other meetings here on out. Okay, on anything. All right?
Got it.
Got it?
Yep.
Any other discussion? Then let's vote. All in favor, say aye, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public input.
I
Joe,
have more unfinished business. I'm sorry.
pardon me?
Oh, you're not done with that. Go ahead.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
You sure?
I think.
Okay, Joe, what's up?
I hope it's okay if I remain seated and feeling the best today. I'd like to introduce the folks that are with me. I'm Joanna Jones. And this is Mike Cups. He is the Cowlitz tribal genealogist and a historian in his own right. This is Larry Kreshner, and he is also with the Cowlitz tribe, and Diane Wiley, she's also with the Cowlitz tribe. And we're here today because we would like to seek approval for certain sites that we would like to do things on. And what the proposal is that we would like to put up signs, one on the Toledo side and one on the other side of the bridge. The only site that's going to be pertaining to you is the one on this side of the bridge.
Mhm.
And that would have the names of the ancestral villages of the Cowlitz people and acknowledging this site actually was, and he knows I can't say it. He is going to prevent me from slaughtering by telling you what the actual name of the site here was.
This side of the river, Tawamelo Hawel.
So now you
Well,
understand
I'm
why
not gonna
everybody's
do that
saying. everybody's
The other
saying-
side of the river was easy one, matchup.
Yes.
Okay,
So we are working with the DOT on a site on the other side, but on this side of the river, we would like to actually put the sign where the bridge starts on the left-hand side and the old sign for Toledo was. It's taken down and there's now 2 posts. So that's right next to the river view where
Yep.
people park their cars.
Yep.
What that sign is going to look like, I can't tell you yet because we are just in the investigative stages. Before we start finding out sizes and looks and designs, we need to have permission that we could actually put something there. We would come at a future date with any designs or, future what it would look like. For the signs, we haven't decided whether it's going to be a unique sign or something that we appear to be the first ones doing this. So this may be a one of a kind that can be replicated. We don't know yet. So that other cities could do the same thing with historic sites and recognizing First Nations that were here before we were here. And I think it's just a time for inclusivity and looking forward to that. One of the other things that we would like to do, and we've always talked about this in all the meetings for, that we've gone to for years, and that is that we have some interpretive signage that actually is related to the story of the Cowlitz people and how things changed, but how things were here, with when Simon met Chief Skaniwa and telling all that side of the story, what happened here in Toledo, in other words. Not going to be later settler, I think we discussed that, and it won't be the later settlement, but it's going to be early days. And we just saw a potential site, we were looking around, and absolutely on the other side, the right-hand side where the gazebo is, the spaces between the gazebo might be a place to actually have a series of maybe 2 or 3 signs. At this point, we get permission, of course, from the council, and we'd like to have your input as to your feelings. The second site that we're looking at is on the other side, and we're working with the Department of Transportation to see if it's viable. And that is the odd triangle that's just gravel, whatever that you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you go up towards Mount St. Helens or the Jackson Highway South. And
the old Teapot Dome.
the old Teapot Dome property. There appears to be, I'm working with David Berkey, who helped us with the entrance signs, the Welcome to Toledo signs, and he is the traffic engineer. At this point, feels there may be some line of sight issues if we put anything up there, but it's actually a lot bigger site. When you're driving by, it doesn't seem that big. Park on it and walk at, it's huge. So tomorrow morning, we have a Zoom meeting between the 4 of us and DOT. And DOT has a tribal liaison that we're also going to be working with to see what can be done. And that site might not be possible. So then we were looking at also examining the South Park County site. It's big, people can pull off, read the signs, that might be viable. That would be working with the county though. So at this point, for you, I want you to have the overall general idea, but this point, we're looking for approval to put that sign up, pending that you have approval, of course, of what the sign is going to look like, because even we don't know that. And I want to make it clear so that everybody understands, we are 4 individuals that got together to do this. We are not the Cowlitz Tribal Council. As a matter of fact, we haven't approached them. They don't know anything about this, might be the first time they hear. But we want to be able to do a professional presentation where we can be informed. So right now, it's investigative. We're trying to get all the answers in place so that we can do a presentation that everybody can understand. But at this point, we're just seeking, do you like the idea of having this done? would you approve having this done?
But you would talk to the tribe before you.
Oh, yeah, we'll all know
It's a
probably.
wonderful idea. I think we
Yeah.
need more, yeah.
The only question I have, Joe, is the site visibility when you come out on the gravel part.
Mhm.
If that sign is blocking their line of sight to look for traffic coming to the left, that could be an issue. Now, we had a pretty good sized sign up there before,
You
welcome
did.
to Toledo. So I think whatever size you guys come up with should be like in those dimensions.
Yes.
If you get bigger, I know it's gonna affect the sight of somebody pulling out there and I really don't want somebody to get hurt.
Yeah,
I think in that park there too, like in the park that has the gazebo,
Mhm.
that has so much potential there for multiple different signs and multiple different sizes and history and
Mhm.
interaction and,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That again is another good site, but
Mhm.
when you pull up to that intersection, you gotta look to the right also to see if traffic's coming in.
and on that
I
side,
know-
it wouldn't impact because it would actually be farther
I
back.
know
to the
myself,
gazebo.
I know myself, I gotta go past the stop bar even, to
Yes.
look to the right.
Yes, because.
So I
of
know
the
everybody,
rain.
I know everybody else is doing it.
Bridge.
Everybody's doing that because of the bridge.
Yeah.
They gotta pull up the seat. So I think something in that gazebo area shouldn't hinder anything,
No.
but is that our
This one,
property?
where the old time ones, isn't that DOT property too?
I don't think
When
so.
when
I
they
think
put
it's
that sign
Rick's.
up there, I don't think it's our property.
I think it's Rick's, but I'm not
It
positive.
might be DOT.
I believe that
or
was-
Wells.
I believe that's state.
Oh,
This
I
is-
remember from before, I believe
I
that's
believe
state
so.
right there.
Wasn't that county? Don't we pay the county,
No, that's a
Lewis
state,
County
that's a state bridge.
for
I
that
believe that's-
property?
I think that's state.
Yeah.
It could be state, Joe.
I can look and see.
Because you would have had to get permission.
Yeah,
That's
what, on
flat
that
out.
other sign of that, like, your contact forum.
Yeah.
Because I think it's state, I think Jay had to get permission from the state to put it there.
Okay. Okay.
Let us do some research. 'Cause
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
that's a state bridge. I'm thinking it could be state property, but I'm also thinking it could be Rick's. I don't know that.
Mhm.
But I know on the other side of the gazebo, that's also state that goes so far also on that side.
Yeah.
Before we put anything on there. So we get the dimensions,
Yeah.
we'll get the dimensions down of what we actually have, and then we can go from there.
Okay. I think the only site that you might need to worry about is the site on the, next to the bridge. If we put any interpretive signage, that would be within the open spaces of the gazebo itself. So
Okay.
maybe it's quite a distance, what do we think, about 8 to 10 feet between the posts? And so right in there, maybe a couple of interpretive signs in between those posts would not affect line of sight. You already have an existing structure on there.
Right.
And this would just be part of that structure.
Jill?
Joe,
Yeah.
that site is DOT. We have a lease with DOT for that, so they would still have to approve
Okay.
anything that goes there. Just,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
we do have that
Yeah.
at least there.
That question.
Yeah, and we will be bringing that up as well tomorrow morning.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a team meeting with them.
And that plot of land near the Apple Store, is that what you're talking about? Is where,
Yeah.
does actually belong to the state.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, that answers
I'll
that
see,
question.
if- yeah, who I can talk to. I'm sure we have. a
Yes.
contact or something from-
We had to have something to put our sign up. to begin
Yeah.
with. So
Yes,
if they're in good stand, we should be in good standing with them to put something back. The poster's still there,
right.
put something back on it.
And
I don't
so,
know.
so far, we haven't been able to determine from DOT if there are any other existing signs that have done these native historic
Yeah,
identification sites. So at this point, we don't know if there is a standardized sign that they use. Doesn't sound like if there is. It
Well,
sounds
I'm
like we're
still-
gonna be the first ones doing this.
I'm still thinking with you on that one for the Teapot Dome area. It's bigger than what it looks. And it's, people pull off there all the time to have lunch or, I've even seen DOT trucks in there having a break.
Yeah,
So visibility purposes, you gotta pull in there so far to get out so the people in Jackson South can see and pull out, safely, which they do. And that is such a big, I know how big it is, 'cause I helped fill that hole in when they tore down Teapot Dome 40 some years ago.
Yeah.
So I know
Yeah.
for a fact how big it was.
Yeah.
And I would like to see something there so people can pull off and read it, just like at the water tower, they pull off there at the water tower and read that. And sit here and look at the pictures that we got the murals on there, take pictures. We're being well publicized from that mural and the reader board and stuff, with the reader information that's up there. So the more we can put out, the more informative we can, and maybe I'll bring some more people here to Toledo to help us grow a little bit.
That's owned by Lewis County Road Department, and it's a third of an acre.
Third of an acre?
So that is county property?
Lewis County Road Department.
The gazebo or the
The triangle.
The triangle.
And you might be fascinated to know that we have, well, everybody pretty much in Toledo knows that how closely connected we are to the Calvert's Drive. But this Simon from London picture on the water tower is his fourth great grandfather. So we are all connected, even the people we don't realize who are connected to our native heritage actually are. So, including Larry. I met him at his great grandmother's tomb at St. Francis Cemetery, and that's how we met. So we're all very interconnected, and I think it's time to recognize that and put some signage up that is pertinent to their life, and their history.
I have a mayor's meeting Friday. I'll talk to the commissioners.
Okay.
I'll bring it up,
Yeah.
see what they say.
So we'll be, like I said, we will also be bringing up the DLT because I think even if it's county, they will probably, at the
They'll want
state
some input.
highways, they're gonna have some input,
No
no
one's
matter
gonna
what
put
we
it-
do. So I think that's great.
They will, because they don't like anything on their property without verification and all the other information.
Yeah, so do we have council approval to further this on?
You want a motion?
I'd make a motion that you further this project and
Okay,
see what you come up with and then bring it back to the council and give us the report.
okay.
I second.
Second it? Moved and second. Any more questions or comments?
It's a great idea.
Let's vote on it. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You got it.
Great.
Brings
Thank
back
you.
some more information.
And I do have one other thing to bring up.
Joe, you always have one other thing.
I know. It's terrible.
I know you. You
They
always
know
have
you,
one
Joe.
other
Yeah,
thing.
but this is gonna make you even more happy than this makes us, so. As you know, the Historical Society received a small grant, and we've had a series of guest speakers, of which Mike was one of, actually was our first one. And about, end of April, we had a gentleman by the name of Robert Foxcroft, who was talking about Métis culture and about the beginnings, heritage, many things like that. And two gentlemen were there, and they were from the American Mountain Men Association, and they approached me afterwards that they would like to do a rendezvous encampment here. They were interested to knowing if we had history days here, and I said, well, no, per se, we don't. We have cheese days, but it doesn't involve cultural history as what you're referring to. And so the proposal is to organize this year for an event next year, and possibly August, the third week in August, when we used to have the threshing bee, and that is now defunct. So that is an open weekend, and this would be nice to have maybe something called Cowlitz River Days, Cowlitz River Rendezvous Days, or Rendezvous, or however we decide to talk, to flesh that out. But the idea generally would be that we would have cultural events, things like that nature, and we are looking for a site. So it might be the South County Park, it may be the park inside here. I've invited the gentleman to come back and actually view the sites so they can decide, they have more of an idea of what they need to set up an encampment. But I'd like to expand it to a whole event where we have teaching classes. And one of the things that they suggested they could do, but not limited to, is the art of trapping, types of trapping methods, trappers' material culture, native sign language for communication, means of travel, firearms of the fur trade. And it says their goal is not only educate, but also to include the public in active learning. And we'd like to have maybe booths where some of the artisans that we have in the local area could actually provide their wares, show people things. The tribe has a wonderful herbalist. It would be, that predates modern medicine. And that would be a wonderful thing to have at the event as well. Things like that, things of old time history and of this area. So, we'd be looking to flesh that out and to have people join in managing this event. It's not going to be up to one person. I guess I'm saying it's not going to be up to me to do it by myself.
That's better you rephrase that, though.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you from years ago, way back, and Jim probably remembers, logging show we used to have here at the middle school. We had a tree that they climbed, they had bucking saws, they had power saws, they had axe throwing. So, and we had it all up there in the middle school field. So if that's something that maybe we can switch that table around and have the trappers or the mountain men put up little booths or tents and have explanation places or show them how to set traps or whatever they do. I think that field, but we'd have to get permission to the school. Is the only thing I got. In South County Park, there's plenty of parking down there. There's not too many trees, but I mean, or our city park for tree. I don't know what they're gonna need.
Yeah,
That's-
and I think that's gonna be determined by them easier. There's
Okay.
pros and cons to both sites. We know that South County Park has not really been kept up.
Right.
And they would probably need to mow somewhat, and provide, things for garbage and whatnot like that. But they do have the bathrooms
Yeah.
and we've seen them, so we know they're in beautiful condition.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Since they've been locked forever.
I saw that viral.
But, so there could
Hey,
be
I
pros.
got a
and
good
cons.
idea. They can trap the ducks
There you go. Yeah, or the beavers that chew down all the trees.
or the beavers. Yeah, chew down on the
But
trees.
I think their actually plan is that they actually come and do an encampment. So it's not just displays. They actually live on the site. And when you interact with them, they are in the persona of being in the 1800s.
Period, correct.
Yes, period, correct. Thank you, Mike. So we're thinking, is there input from the council? Is this something you'd like to see us pursue? I think it would bring money into the community, to be honest.
Well, the threshing meet was huge.
Mhm.
Thousands of people came from all over the place and the other states even to watch that threshing bee.
Yes.
Now that we've lost it, that'd be a good substitute.
I mean, I think it would be great to have some participation with schools as well, and also get, when I was in high school, my quarterly project was to put on a Renaissance thing, and we had a feast and I invited my class. So, if you had inclusion with, more than just yourself, I think it's a huge project for sure. I mean, it's like putting on a mini cheese day. It's really
Yes, it is.
huge.
Yes.
So, I'd say start small. I think work on your signs first, and definitely, I say yes to anything that brings wonderful things to Toledo. So yes, but start small goals for yourself. So once you know.
I'd like to see some venison.
Well, maybe we can find this trap, or maybe they actually do go out and trap. And I know we've got a lot of hunters in this community.
Well, that would be, that would probably be the council.
Yeah.
Get that rooster.
Set up down there.
Oh.
Don't have to go far.
Speaking of which, can we talk about the roosters? Please, I for one, would like to not have them in town. They are against the city code, and I will be that person who says.
I told the guy down in the butcher when he caught it, he
We
wouldn't
don't
do it.
need, we don't need them pooping around.
If you
town.
catch them and make them go
That's
out
what
of
we
town,
have the
then.
police department for. And the city code
Can you see
enforcement.
Sam chasing the rooster?
They get them at night. They get them at night. Get them at night.
Well, I'll tell you what, the guy in the corner.
I think Jill should get him.
He caught it during the day, and I watched him run the
I mean,
butcher.
I
around.
hope they don't get it
Drop
at
one and
night, I
catch it.
will. But
He
I
caught
don't think, yeah, he should have. He's a.
Well, there's not only one, there's two, and they look like twins. One of them hangs out right here at City Hall, and the other one hangs out in the
Yeah.
park, and they're big roosters. I'm not kidding.
I mean, yeah, he just is, he's close to my house.
He's close to your chicken.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
ladies, my lovely ladies.
Well, can you find somebody who has chickens that would come and just get them? They know how to handle them.
Put it on Facebook.
There was somebody already that offered through that whole thread to, if you can find out where they roost, they'll come take care of them. Just, once they're roosted, you can just,
I can get them easy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they live
And if nobody wants them for a home, Shayla's has a poultry auction on Fridays, and somebody could take them up there and donate them, and you'll find a wonderful home that way.
It's really pretty, okay, I didn't know about the option.
Yeah, is it Cold Creek Road?
Yep,
Yeah.
it is on Poultry.
Yeah.
Every Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought you could drop them off on Fridays, I
Okay.
think, and then they have their auction on Saturdays.
They sell lots of chickens and
Bacon
ducks.
and roosters there. But I didn't, well, I mean, I guess if you want to hunt him down when he's whatever, but
No,
I mean, I didn't know it was illegal to have roosters or against them. I mean, I
it
don't
is
think,
technically against.
is it really because we've had roosters at our house with our.
Well, I
Actually,
went
it's
through
against
the
the sound
code.
ordinance.
Yes, I
So
did.
if
There
they
you go.
When I went to go get my chickens, to have my chickens like 10 years ago, yes, I went through the code. Because I was like, I wonder if I can have a rooster.
Generally, when you get chickens, you always end up with a rooster when you start out with chicks.
Oh, I did.
They never work out well, right?
Right,
Yeah.
especially never had a crow.
Well, and they just
No.
managed to get them all.
Some of those little babies can't crow with a barn. Jeez.
I know. it's-
2
I
o'clock in the
know.
morning.
My guess is if you wait long enough, they'll meet their doom, so.
Well, you know,
Anyway, if we have a minute, I have some unfinished business. And I thought we were just doing public comment on unfinished business, and I have unfinished
Okay.
business.
So you have one more thing.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry.
Go
I thought
ahead.
we were doing public comment on unfinished business, because we didn't go to other business, and I got some business.
Okay, we'll go with your. business.
Okay, so my business is this, when we talked about stipend, for, license stipend for the class 2 license for the wastewater treatment plant. And we discussed that whole situation. We never actually talked about if we were paying that retroactively or not. So that's my unfinished business. We never said when we,
I think we spoke on it,
But we never-
actually
yes,
heard it.
we never, I know we never approved doing it that way. So I just wanted to bring that up.
yeah, I don't think it needs to be retroactive.
When do we approve it?
Like this couple of days, I
Couple
want
of
to say.
days into
It's
April,
April, yeah,
and it was actually supposed to have taken effect at the beginning of April.
Beginning of April?
That's what we discussed.
yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we were,
Well, then it should be retro back to 1st of April, shouldn't it?
yeah, it should be. I
Devin?
thought so, but
Well, I mean, that's, yes, it should be to April, but not.
Correct.
yes, no, no, I just,
yes.
okay. I was gonna.
See,
I do, so I was
you got
just,
machines, I got paper.
so anyway, yes,
It is
we
kind of
did,
handy.
right? Yeah, so we did,
So if it's retro back to April 1st, what, can we do that? April 1st, back
I think
pay?
the ordinance has to be passed first,
The ordinance has to be passed.
because that's
first.
where the money's coming from, right?
I don't think the ordinance has to be passed first to do that, no. But that's just my thought. Maybe, I don't know.
I think so, because that's where the money's coming from, is that, those funds, right?
Which ordinance?
This one, The 725.
And we just passed it,
your first reading,
Yeah,
first reading.
yeah. So it'll be on the meeting for your second reading next time,
And then we can
and then
still,
it'll pass.
then we can still retro pay back to April 1st, right?
I think it's up to you guys, not me.
Well, if they already said
I make a
that.
motion that we confirm that it's from April 1st of 2022 moving forward.
Moved and second, any other discussion?
April to 2020?
No, 2022,
2022.
this year.
Any other discussion? Well, let's vote on it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, Devin. Okay, any other business of any sort?
I do have one more thing, actually.
Since you started, Joe?
So it really isn't anything huge. I just was wondering, I wanted to ask a question, and I wanted to find out where we were with food bank. Any,
I have not.
nothing.
I have not heard it.
Okay.
So,
I thought we were waiting to like have some sort of meeting to go over revising our contract or.
At any point in time, any one of us can go back and look and see what it looks like back there and decide if they are or are not. Look, right?
Well, I know that,
in compliance with the contract.
well, I know that there was it was brought up that they were behind, that they were not in compliance with one of the, I can't remember what it was called. That they needed to have,
The 50.
yes.
Oh, yeah, the 501c3 had expired.
Yes, and so I was wondering if that ever got taken care of, and then I thought we were somehow getting together with, once they got their new board of business figured out, so that we could go forward with figuring out a new contract, moving forward with the food, with that.
Because it was
food
so
bank,
old. wasn't
because
it?
it's
Yeah,
so
okay.
old, and we need, yes, and so I don't want that to fall off of
Okay.
our radar, because we need to take care of it, and it's been ongoing for several months with no, I mean, at least several weeks
Quite a while.
without any movement.
Yeah,
And I think, can we confirm that we did actually give them written notice?
We not had a copy of it
Okay, great.
in
So
our,
so I would
stuff.
expect them to give us something with their intention.
We did not.
Desire
We
something.
did not
in the
receive
future.
anything back.
well, did it have like a time, like,
Well, it's
you know,
through the
like
end of
so
the
many
year.
times?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's through the end of the year.
we have January, like, we have to give them 90 days, I think it is.
So that's right.
We have, and it, but it has to be done before January.
Okay, so we have
yeah.
We
this
had to have done
year,
it before October last year, and we didn't.
And we
So-
didn't.
so it needs to be done before October of this year.
And we're in May.
And we're in May, okay.
Right, but
So
if
who,
they're non-compliant,
I think
that's
that they
the whole
are.
different ball of wax.
Well,
I
yes.
think
I
that they
mean,
are compliant now. I think something, they
Yeah.
had a big turnover, and
I've
but it
heard
would
of
be
one
nice
that
if they would
working.
reach out to us and give us a status or something.
Right. They haven't reached out.
Maybe send another notice with a deadline. Respond by.
Or invite them to the next meeting.
Can we clarify, are they actually actively providing food services? I mean, are they open?
That's,
The city,
as far as I mean, that's not up to the city to decide when they're open or not. I'm assuming they are. I have no idea though.
we leased them our building. Oh, go ahead, Kathy.
I was just gonna say, now that I'm sitting in a chair there,
Go ahead.
I would be delighted to be the one to make contact with Debbie and report back to council.
That'd be great.
Because we had, was that the district guy that was here talking about the food bank?
Research and such.
Eric, were you here with him?
Yeah.
Was-
Yeah.
Was he the district guy or the head
The
honcho?
region, yeah, the regional person.
Oh, okay, yeah. Like the
He was-
Lewis County
He is the
Coalition.
food
Yeah.
commission head, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's the one that said he's gonna do lots of things to help our food bank out, especially when I mentioned the senior center going back and more people are coming to the senior center. I made the suggestion of hauling stuff over there in their wagons full of food and put free on it. Let them take whatever they want out of that wagon. He said, well, that's a darn good idea. I said, well, thank you very much. Let's start doing it as soon as possible. No, nothing's ever happened and never got back.
And they haven't been open as far as I know.
They haven't.
Not that I know
They
of.
have extremely limited
It's
hours.
4 hours
So
every
that-
other week,
Anyway,
Twice a month?
twice a month for 3 or 4.
That's not enough. We need to get rid of that stuff back there because as far as I know, they're still getting 2 pickup loads a week. And it's stacked as high as you can reach in that room back there. And it's,
Well,
Needs to be
there are
gone.
people going hungry.
well, it needs to be gone. Let's feed them, put free on it. I don't care how many wagon trains you got. Load them up and take them over. That seems to be the people that need the help is a lot of people going to the senior center. Well, let's help them out. That's my belief.
It's very
I
frustrating.
told Debbie, I said, how much you giving them? Oh, probably 2 sacks, they will make it 4. Let's get rid of this stuff. We don't need to keep it. Well, what happens? I said, don't give me that, what happens if? I said, we get tons of stuff in here, we need to get rid of it. we're running out. I'd like to get a walk-in cooler to help them out, get rid of the 10 freezers that are ancient, come over to Mayflower, they use electricity like crazy. And then some of the food in the freezer I saw, had freezer burnt. So what, really? Get rid of it, give some people some food for crying out loud. That's just me.
Well, but the frustrating part is really the only whatever we have is over the lease with the building. We don't have any whatever with the
No.
food bank. It's Toledo Food Bank, but it has nothing to do with the city. They just lease our building and we have a contract with them to lease the building, and that is all. We don't have any other liability, responsibility. Just to make that clear with the food bank, other than the contract that they need to be in compliance with, or
I mean, it's a heck of a contract.
We'll
really.
need to create a new contract next year, so.
my other question, I want to give you one more, and then I'm gonna let you out of here, Steve.
Oh.
Scheduled meeting with national.
Joanna, see what you started?
Hey, I have a list.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the last thing. I checked it off. Anyway, I just wondered if we had moved forward with a possible scheduled meeting.
I have not heard that one yet.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's the shortest question and answer I've ever seen.
I'll live, sir,
Okay,
Steve.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded by Shelley, the one and only, and seconded by Emily. All those in favor, please say aye.